Hey guys, StarCraft here, and today I don't have much to talk about really, but I did want to continue something that I kind of started not yesterday but 2 days ago, and that's talking about creators. Although in this case, I'm not going to do another talk about comparing two different creators. Instead, I'm going to talk about just one creator. Thing is, this is also one of my new favorite creators, but how do I put this? It's hard to describe what he does that stands out. Yeah, I mean, Geoff Johns, Scott Snyder, they both have their own thing. Geoff states continuity and reworks it. Scott reworks and redoes continuity radically and then makes radical new additions that really fit. But this guy, the guy I'm about to talk about, is one Robert Venditti. And Robert has, my name's Robert, but nothing to do with this. He has, it's just really good. It's kind of one of those games where it's hard to put it down to words. Except I could definitely sum it up in a few cases, in that if you look at something like, say, his Freedom Fighters, for example, one of his more recent work, and he really gets the characters, but he's also in a way not so much, I mean, it's rocking the boat in a way because he has such absolute freedom. At the same time though, it's, actually, I'll get back to Freedom Fighters in a little bit, but let's actually rewind a bit to when he started. I wouldn't say it was his first comic work, but definitely one of his first was DC, and now with his time was both Green Lantern and The Flash. Two very different runs, and most of those had him collaborating with another guy, Van Jensen, I believe. I don't remember his first name, but I think it was Van Jensen. And those two basically had, sorry about that. Those two worked really well. In the case of Green Lantern, got the ball rolling before Venditti took over Green Lantern fully, and Van Jensen worked on Green Lantern Corps. And they both worked together very well on The Flash. Now, I know many people did not care for the Flash run. I really did. But this is also during point when Venditti was kind of getting started. I'll be a little critical on those early stuff. You can definitely tell he was given a lot of liberty to work with stuff, but I think he's open to admit there was some kids he didn't know. Like, when he heard about the source wall, he thought, oh, that's the source of where stuff like the energy for the Green Lantern and all the different Lantern Corps stuff came from. And that kind of sounds like it's going back to the old John Byrne thing, which I don't think was his intent. Where, there's the source wall, the source was the literal source of everything. Again, I don't think that was his intent. But in the case of, with that, then you had the stuff with the fact that the Lantern Core energy that Geoff Johns had a finite amount. Yeah, let's be honest, that kind of writes you into a corner when you're like, oh, it's been refilled, but who knows if it's going to happen again. Yeah, what are you gonna do eventually? And eventually it's been like it's mostly been dropped. And then you have Rebirth, so that who knows what that's done to that concept. I don't know if Relic is still out there. I kind of hope he is. That was actually a good idea for a character. Kind of a little bit with the Galactusness of he's from the prior universe and he's huge here, but yet at the same time having more of a Galactus Reed Richardsness to him, like that. But it wasn't until his Hal Jordan run that he's really come into his own big time. And you could definitely tell that happened because when he took over and it was Hal Jordan and he was given all the other characters, you could definitely tell he was really having a thing thought out, a plan. And he basically had carte blanche, it looked like. And he did stuff great with Sinestro, yet still played out what Sinestro was building up to. He did stuff with the Dark Stars by the end of it. You had General Zod. You had him do all this different stuff that really made Hal and the Corps great again. And by the end, wrapped up everything, starting with Geoff Johns and Green Lantern Rebirth, and bring it to a nice conclusion in its own way. And what more can you ask for? The stuff on the Flash, well, that's where we got the new Wally West from. The other one, I should say, and he's still around as Kid Flash, and he had some interesting ideas, like a Barry who was willing to change history, go back in time and try and change stuff, the Blue Flash, and try and fix things because of losing Wally. Again, interesting ideas, him actually becoming his own bad guy. but then eventually he really started getting even better. Like Damage, when he started with Damage for the Dark Knight's Metal. Very good stuff. I still say he's one of the best. It's such a shame it's being canceled, but at the same time now, it's kind of, like, I always look at that one as being a bit of it's going to run its course eventually, because you're going with a DC version of Hulk. How much longer can you really stretch it out when you have like Superman and the others in the mix? That's part of the reason why by issue 12, the League finally caught up to him. It was inevitable. He said, and I remember him telling once that he did have some ideas in mind where to go with it, but who knows what else he had planned. But in the case of back to Freedom Fighters, well, first I should say, also as Hawkman, very great as well. But Freedom Fighters is a prime example of one of the things I could definitely say is great about Venditti. And that's how he is a modern day old school writer. What do I mean by that? Well, with Freedom Fighters, the politics in this one, as I've said before in my reviews, are part of the story. It's not defining the story. Anyone else could have taken this and could have made it basically be about, oh, let's add some more modern, more references to modern day. Let's have Hitler's son or grandson or whatever be more of a Trump XP, things like that. No, he didn't do that. Instead, in the case of, for example, with Hitler II, not a Trump XP whatsoever. Goes with rat season. It feels like a story. And at that, Venditti has been such a great guy interacting with fans on Twitter. I've interacted with him plenty of times, and whenever he's taken a chance to respond, has been very nice and calm. There might be a few times where he has a little bit of politics on his Twitter, but it's not dominated. I have not seen him, nor am I asking him to pick a side, because I'm not at all. But he is a very good writer who seems to be, the kind of guy who treats fans with respect. And unless they're treating him like an asshole, he won't be an asshole to them. He's not going to just go out of his way to be an asshole, which, as far as I've seen, that's a good thing, and very respectful. And again, he's just one of those new writers, recent writers. I mean, Exo Manowar, I haven't seen it, but it's just still really good, and from what I've heard. And yeah, just again, what else can I say about Venditti? But he's like I said, a modern, old school writer, or traditional writer, and good with the fans. And he brings us so much good with the characters without needing to decide the full overhaul, changing them. And he brings out the best in whatever he's given. And he's gotten so much better now since he's been with DC so much longer. I cannot wait for whatever he has next coming on. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about Venditti. And that's my video for today. Catch you all later.